Hi, everybody, and welcome to MOPC Live. Today we have a special guest. We have Ali Barthwell, who is the Emmy Award winning writer for Last Week Tonight and the author of Reality TV for Snobs. The book is actually coming out next week. So, welcome, Ali. Thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thanks so much for having me.
First of all, please tell us about your book. I've read it, it's amazing, and I'll be featuring an interview with Ali on the site next month.
Yeah, so Reality TV for Snobs is a guidebook for both the reality TV curious and the reality TV skeptical, to give them an entry point, an overview to sort of catch up and join the great conversation that's happening about reality TV literally all the time around us. And so it has essays, recaps, key moments, key players, and conversation starters for reality shows, all the way from Survivor and The Real World to The Traitors and Love Island.
That's amazing. And in a couple of minutes, we're gonna actually play reality TV matchmaker. Ali is gonna recommend all each of us shows based on our other TV interests. But before we do that, we also, of course, we want to talk about Last Week Tonight. Of course, you are a writer on our show, and can't think of a more interesting time to be a writer in late night than right now with
Oh
there's
boy.
such a target on the back of this format. So I just love to hear what it's like to be in late night right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's there's a lot of stuff going on constantly. There's always, I call them weird little guys, always a new weird little guy popping up that I have to keep track of. But in terms of like what it feels like right now, I think there is a lot of worry. The TV industry, the late night TV industry is, I don't know if growing pains is the right word. Maybe something akin to like a death rattle is also happening. So I think there's a lot of we're seeing a lot of people be targeted. We're seeing a lot of jobs go away. So there's some real anxiety there to see really talented people, really amazing shows just sort of like disappear. And I think in a time like now, late night TV, the release valve that comedy gives is really important and couldn't be more important. So seeing, jobs, people's points of view, a diversity in that point of view go away is really it's really freaky, I think is the safest word.
Yeah, I was curious as well about if you personally find it a comfort to know that you're providing other people with comfort through working on this show, in a moment of such immense and overwhelming, free-floating political and cultural anxiety.
Yeah, I'd say probably like the most common thing that I hear whenever I'm like, "Oh, I write for late night TV, I write for Last Week Tonight with John Oliver," is people being like, "Thank you. Thank you for your service." And I'm like, I am not a person who ever should be thanked for their service. Like that is not my story, my journey. I think, and I tell people all the time, like I just write the jokes. I write the jokes. And but I really think that, like, I'm happy to be in a long, oh gosh. Oh, sorry, my monitor did something crazy. I'm happy to be in like a long tradition of comedy and comedy writers, and I think comedy is really important. I got my start at the Second City, so social and political satire was like my favorite thing to do. That's like the mission there. And I think comedy is really helpful for people to understand what's going on. We can give people like a different framing or a different, reference point for what's happening. And so I sort of see that throughout my career too, just like helping people understand what's going on through comedy so that that's also a comfort. Mhm.
And you've tackled so many interesting topics this season. Is there one that stand out to you or an episode that stand out to you that was fun to write on or just you're like really happy with the way it came out?
Oh, we also get into such a tunnel vision because we're working on stories that maybe will air in 6 months or even longer, and then a story that we wrote a year ago, like, is finally coming back, so I'm like, "What did I do this season?" Um, so I am a little bit like, "Oh my gosh, what did I do?" I always really I sort of got into a little bit of a niche, of working on stories about the Supreme Court. It's just sort of like a little interest of mine, like what's going on up there. Um, uh, about the shadow docket that I think is really interesting.
And so I think, did you have something else you wanted to ask? I want to make
Yeah, I
sure.
was wondering, I find Last Week Tonight to be a wonderful kind of compendium of obscure facts. And so I was curious if you had a particular favorite obscure fact that you've learned by virtue of writing for the show.
Oh my gosh. I really love to do a deep dive to write a joke. Like I will really go down a Google rabbit hole. And I think probably like something that I think represents the show the best is one that it weirdly didn't end up on air. It was in my audition packet. I was writing the information that we had to use for our audition packet was about Devin Nunes, that congressperson, and I looked up where he's from in like the something San Joaquin Valley, something like that. And it has like one of the best soils in the world for agriculture. And it's in like the Swedish Soil Museum. So I wrote a really long joke in my audition packet about how great the soil is and it being in the soil museum and like the percentage of loam and how that makes it really like wonderful and on and on. And when I had my job interview, John and Tim, who's John's counterpart, they were like, "How did you write that joke? Like where did that come from?" And I was like, "I don't know. I took geology for my lab science in college and I found that out, and so I thought that was funny, and it's, like, a good piece of information. Um, and they were like, "Oh, okay, well, yeah, I think we could use her." Like, she seems to get it.
I love that. And do you find do your Last Week Tonight research skills serve you for writing a book about reality TV as well?
Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, I think the sources that you're looking at are very, very different. I spent a lot of time deep diving on Reddit and trying to find out what like the fans of each franchise, what they're talking about, what's really important to them. Because an important thing in this book that I wanted to feature is not just what people watch and, when they're watching, but also like why they're watching and how they're watching and how it's important to them. So I did spend a lot of time deep on the Reddits and being like, okay, what are the fans of Big Brother talking about? What are the fans of the Traders talking about? And then having to kind of cross reference and be like, is it just this one person or is this like a broader trend in the fandom? But yeah, there were lots of little things of like looking up all the 90 Day Fiance spinoffs and trying to put them in like some sort of order. There's so many Keeping Up with the Kardashians spinoffs, and they would have little side adventures. So it was like putting all of those in like chronological order. So it was a different set of sources, primary and secondary.
That's which is a good reminder. John Oliver is a huge reality TV fan, specifically Bravo. And then most recently, he appeared on 2 soaps this summer. He was on General Hospital and Days of Our Lives. I just would love to get your take on, like, what has it been like to see him fulfill that kind of specific dream, knowing him so well and knowing he's such a fan of, like, Bravo reality TV?
Oh, what would be his specific dream?
Oh, no, what was it like for you to see him, like, be on these, like, soaps? Like, it must be, like,
Oh, yeah, it was I think I love when we're able to do anything silly and fun. Like, again, talking about that release valve, we spend so much time in, well-researched deep dives, really, looking at all angles of a very depressing story. And the soap opera story, it actually came about because one writer was watching a soap opera with her mom and saw Stephen A. Smith on the soap opera, and she went on her own deep dive and her own research. And so I think it's really funny when you get to make something on the show that someone really close to you really loves and thinks is really funny. So like I can only imagine for her like that her mom got to see her daughter's boss on her favorite TV show. And so I guess like if there was a version of that for me, it would be like I think I'd have to get John on like Yellowstone maybe for my parents. Or John would have to go toe to toe with Reacher.
Well, that should be just a runner. We should just have John Oliver appear in many TV shows as possible. I think that would be kind of amazing if he just started making cameos all over the place.
It's what
Yeah.
America.
I would love that.
Turning to Reality TV for Snobs, which is such an amazing book. It's a compendium of every single reality show since Survivor, basically. So it covers about 25 years of reality television. And the point of the book is to make people who are not fans of either the genre or certain shows literate in reality television, because there's so many pop culture references now that reference, you're voted off the island, or pack your knives and go, or the cookout, or there are all these different references that people might hear in the ether but not quite understand. And your book is so good about laying out the history of the genre and also making you be able to engage in conversation. So if you find yourself at the water cooler or a dinner party and someone brings up, I don't know, Top Chef, you actually give like talking points to people to be like able to join the conversation. So can you tell us a little bit about what inspired you to write the book, and what was the most rewarding part for you as a reality TV fan?
Yeah, I think, well, the inspiration for the book is when I started, I was approached to write the book by the publisher Quirk. So they were looking for a reality TV expert. But when it came to sort of shaping what the book would feel like, I remember when I started recapping The Bachelor, and that is like how I began like my journey writing about reality TV. I had never seen the show before. And I remember putting in in a recap once, like, I don't know, I've never done this. And the editor being like, you can't talk like that ever. Like, don't ever say that. Like the commenters will like eat you alive. They'll tear you apart. And so I went to a girlfriend who I knew had watched The Bachelor when we were in college. And I was like, can you give me like a list of like an example of a really great date, an example of a really terrible date, somebody in the show that everybody loves and somebody everybody hates. And so I was like, okay, I am now armed with my small set of references that I can pepper in these next few weeks, get everybody to think I've been watching. And now it's funny because I have people who, when they read my recaps, they started watching maybe only 5 seasons ago, and I've been recapping for 10 years. So it's like I am now the ancient text that like holds all this wisdom. When I was like, oh, when I started, that was really not the case. But so I wanted this book to sort of feel like you're having a conversation with your smartest friend who also watches these shows. So there were things of like, oh my gosh, what do I include? When you talk about a show like The Real Housewives, you could do a book this length just on The Real Housewives, like the same format that I did each franchise of Real Housewives. But I think something that was really rewarding was I also went to friends of mine that were a little better schooled in some of these shows and be like, hey, what is your top favorite thing about this show? Who's your favorite person? And then things of like something someone could say that makes you think they know ball, and being able to include those. And so one that's really fun in the book is the sons of my mom's med school cadaver partner. They won the Amazing Race.
Oh, wow.
Johnny and Greg Franklin. And so these are two people like we would spend summers with their family, like swimming, in the pool and playing video games. But there was a moment where my dad came home from dinner with their father was like, "Did you know the Franklin boys are on The Amazing Race?" And so I got to be able to really ask and be like, "How did you prepare? What did you look up? What did you try and learn before going on the show? And then what reaction have people had to you about The Amazing Race?" And one of the things that we talked about that is in the chapter about Amazing Race is that it's really like a family friendly kind of show that people say like, "Oh, I watch with my kids. I watch with my mom. My sisters and I all talk about, oh my gosh, we should audition." So that was also really fun to hear from somebody so close to me that had been on the show.
And so, what we're going to do now, since again, you are the expert in reality television, we're going to have you match make a reality show for each of us, starting with Saul, who is a complete neophyte to the genre. And so, Saul, take it away. Tell Ali what shows you like.
So I shows that I've loved recently include The Pit and Somebody Somewhere. And I will say I would have described myself as a reality neophyte, but your description of family friendly reality reminded me that I actually have watched and even enjoyed a reality show, which is Lego Masters. Because my kids love
Oh,
Lego.
nice.
We've watched the show together. Will Arnett is very funny. And I've enjoyed that quite a bit. I really, we had Emily Nussbaum come on
Mhm.
Ministry and do an interview about her book, Cue the Sun, which is also about reality TV. And I really enjoyed reading that. So I think like learning the scope has been really interesting to me. I just haven't dived in all that much yet on any specific show. So that's sort of my matchmaking profile.
Interesting. Okay, so there's a couple different tactics. So there is like we can go basic, you got to know the foundations, but I want to dig in a little bit on The Pit and Somebody Somewhere and sort of find out what about those shows do you like to find maybe the right place to match a little bit.
I think I especially like shows that are interested in the humanity of their characters and looking to let us spend time with people who are striving to do their best, right? Whether it's people in a hospital, whether it's just like friends hanging out. I think I'm probably less inclined to watch a reality show that's just all about horrible people being horrible to each other all the time.
Okay. Okay. So if we want to go the route of complete neophyte, don't know where to start, I would start somewhere like Survivor,
Mhm.
because that is just like so any competition reality show is like descendant from Survivor. Um, and I think that's gonna it is a little cutthroat, but it is like very contained within that competition. Like we're not being mean to people. You don't get ahead specifically by being mean to people. Like there's a way to do it to get ahead on that show and be a good person. Okay. So if we're thinking like want to see people doing their best, that kind of thing, I have a kind of wild card pick. It would be Jersey Shore Family Vacation. So the Jersey Shore, the seminal MTV reality show of the late mid to late 2000s, they have come back for a legacy sequel, which MTV has started doing. And it's very interesting to see this group of people that were very messy, very angry, very drunk, grown up and like really exploring what it means to be this little found family that like cares about each other. So that is a really great. They're also just like those shows always have great physical comedy. Just they're a very funny, silly group of people, but you can see like people have gotten sober, people have gotten married, they've had kids, like, that would be fun. I also maybe would if you're willing to go a little messier, I also maybe would recommend the Real World Legacy sequels, the Real World Homecoming, because it is everyone's sorta like, "Okay, let's get our issues out, let's revisit these times in our life and kind of come back together." I also had on my list looking at The Pit, I was sort of thinking about like, okay, the pace of that show, which would take us into food competitions. So that would be like Top Chef And the newer seasons of Top Chef are much more cuddly, much more family friendly. The earlier seasons got a little bite to them. So I would start with later seasons of Top Chef. They're very fun. If you want to go really mean, Hell's Kitchen, very fast paced, very mean, very dumb. And then just as, again, that medical theme, I thought Dr. Pimple Popper.
That's kind of an amazing recommendation.
She's the Dr. Pimple Popper. I think her name is Lee, Dr. Lee. She's very nice. She really helps people. You get to hear everybody's story about their growth or their pustule. And then you visit them later when their life is better and they get to wear a swimsuit because they don't have a growth.
I'm excited about that recommendation.
Yeah,
Well,
a lot of options.
Okay. I feel well armed to jump into the wilds of reality TV.
Fantastic.
I'm so excited, Saul, to see which ones you choose and gravitate towards. 'Cause I feel within all those recommendations, you could actually find a show that you like.
Yeah, that's how I feel too.
All right, so what we're gonna do now, we're gonna try is we're gonna actually bring on Jenna first, so she can also get her reality TV matchmaking. So, Saul, I'm gonna say goodbye to you for the moment,
Bye,
and
Allie. Yeah.
Bye.
and then invite Jen. So, give me a second as I do that, and then I'm gonna invite Jen. And while I do that, I'm going to quickly ask you, Allie, my two shows. I'm already a reality TV person, but I was going to say, if I'm a person that enjoys Shrinking and Summer House, do you have a quick recommendation for me?
Great. Yeah. I think Summer House, because of the scamanda of it all, you could go back to the original Bravo cheating scandal and watch Vanderpump Rules, which I believe you are a fan. Yes. So I definitely would love to also dig in on maybe on what you like about Summer House, but more importantly, what you like about Shrinking. Because again, I have some thoughts, but I think we can really dial in.
Okay. So I just let, oh, and there's Jen. Hi, Jen. So I'll make
Hi.
it fast. Because I would love to you guys to have a matchmaking moment, but I just love group dynamics. I love a hangout show where people just get a chance to hang out and
Mm,
have a good time with each other. And I do like some drama, but I also feel like I want a good balance of drama, but also just camaraderie and friendship and people just having a good time.
awesome. Fantastic. Oh, some of my choices we're really going to love. Again, Jersey Shore, great hangout show.
Okay.
But I'm going to recommend the original for you. That is Hangout Show Camaraderie. I also pulled, I think, the Bachelor spin-off shows, Bachelor in Paradise, and the one season wonder that I really loved, Bachelor Winter Games,
Mhm.
are going to be really fun. They're really hangout shows. I like to say if you're familiar, it's like Love Island, but a little less stressful and a little less horny. Um, we still have the respectability veneer of The Bachelor over it. But especially Bachelor Winter Games, they really let them hang out in a house, which I think like is going to look very familiar to a summer house watcher. And on Bachelor Winter Games, they brought in people from the international editions of the show. So there were some Canadian people, there were some from Australia. So there's a mix of familiar faces for Bachelor fans, if you have any of those in your circle, but there's enough new people that you're gonna not feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know who any of these people are, because they're totally coming in fresh from the international editions. I also put on there in sort of that summer house, we have a wild and crazy summer. Any of those keeping up with the Kardashian, like Kim and Courtney are taking somewhere, or Chloe and Courtney are taking somewhere. I like to have a reality show that you can just like kind of put on in the background and don't have to think too much about. But it does give you that little bit of like, ooh, we're in somewhere different. We're hanging out for the summer. Fantastic. And then I think my final hanging out for the summer niche pick would be the Disney Channel original series Bug Juice.
Oh, wow.
which was about kids, 13 and under at summer camp. And so if we want a really wholesome, truly could not be more wholesome than a Disney Channel original series at a summer camp.
I love it. Those are all great choices, and I love bug juicers and
So
because I never it's so cute, and it's just kids at summer camp. Alright, I'm gonna look into that. Alright, Jen, you're up.
okay. So I just wrote a book about Parks and Rec.
Awesome.
And I would say that's almost like think of that as a genre of show that I like. I've liked, its descendants like Ted Lasso and Schitt's Creek, the warm, fuzzy, but still funny kind of vibe. Also, we could throw in Heated Rivalry. Like all of America, like all of the world. I
We were swept away
I
by
was
heated
swept
rivalry
away
mania.
totally unexpectedly. Definitely watched the first few and was like, texted my friends like, "Is this gonna get good?" And they were like, "Stay with it." And I live for the cabin now. I became a huge fan. I enjoy the fandom. I went to see Heated Rivalry, the parody musical in the city, and I super recommend this. It's so, so good. So we can start with that, and I'll tell you just briefly since you got like a little history. Also, I like it's like going to the doctor. You get like your symptoms and your history.
Yep.
My history. I mean, I have consumed some reality television. I covered The Bachelor at Entertainment Weekly, and I used to be into like you have to be so into it, like you said, if you're going
Yeah.
to cover it.
Yeah.
And also, I had to at some point like remove myself, right? Like when I stopped being at EW and I didn't have to watch anymore, I had to like go through detox and be like, you're not allowed to watch. Don't start. Don't look at it. You're going to get, I just decided like I needed to stop. I do still absolutely love The Voice. I've watched every season. I will watch
great.
every
Okay.
season. So there you go.
Okay, great. This is in line with some of the things that I thought. Fantastic. So, if we're talking my personal like comfort watch, just we're having a good time enjoying ourselves, we gotta go Dancing with the Stars. We
Oh,
gotta
that's
go
good. Yeah.
Dancing with the Stars. It's like bigger than it's ever been. But it is such a just like a joy infusion into your face. It is just dancing, people learning to love themselves through the power of dance. And like the costumes are amazing, the makeup's amazing. It really, I think if we're just like pure happiness,
Yes.
Dancing with the Stars. Another pure happiness, sweet, fun, good vibes. We definitely got to go Great British Baking Show.
Ooh, yes. I haven't done that, but I've heard this about it.
Okay, Great British Baking Show. You can just pop it on and let that sucker ride. Another fantastic British reality show, The Great Pottery Throwdown.
Ooh.
It is about people that make pottery. And the host is this man who he's like a renowned potter, and every episode he will hold a piece of pottery that inspires him so much that makes him burst into tears. And like even better is when they've made like there was one episode where they had to make like toilets, like a porcelain toilet, and he just was like, it works. Like it's so great. So I would say that. Also, if we're talking like really heartwarming, Love on the Spectrum. So it's adults with disabilities that are finding love, going on dates, getting to know other people, other adults with disabilities. It's really sweet. It's really, really sweet. There's been a couple, breakout stars. And the way that like healthy communication and like really loving, like thinking about your partners modeled. So sweet. Okay, so those are our Parks and Rec recommendations. Now we're going to go to Heated Rivalry. My first thought was, okay, we like accents, so we got to go 90 Day Fiance. If we are worried about our K-1 visa, we gotta go to 90 Day Fiance. And that's like a big recommendation because there's a lot in that franchise, but it is also incredibly easy to pick up. Like, just start. There was one season my boyfriend and I were like flipping through, and something crazy happened on the TV. And we're like, well, we got to watch this now. We watched the whole season. So then I went with unexpected, very sexual romance was sort of the thought. So I have two recommendations for that. So one is Are You the One? Come One, Come All. So this is an MTV reality show, Are You the One? And they did a queer season, which was Come One, Come All.
Okay.
So the way that this show works is they have, 20 cast members, and they have been secretly matched by a matchmaker with another cast member that will solve their whatever their dating issues are. The cast members then will date around and do challenges to find who their match is, and they will go to a ceremony where they are told how many matches they have correct, but not what those correct matches are. So they will get matched up, go to the ceremony, and they're like, 5 of these couples are the perfect match. The rest are trash. And then they have to use logic and deduction to figure out who their matches are.
I love it.
The Come One, Come All queer season was it was so difficult because suddenly, instead of just men and women being matched, you could be matched with anyone of any gender. So the difficulty was higher, but it also, there's some really interesting stories of people like challenging what they think their perfect match should be versus like what the matchmaker challenged them. Like there was one person who was really convinced their match would be like very masculine. So they were very resistant to a person they actually had like a really good connection with because that person didn't like match. So there's that. The other one would be F-Boy Island. This was, I believe it was the CW show, which is also like, does the CW exist? Unclear. And it was hosted by Nikki Glazer, so it has a very like sardonic, sarcastic tone. But it was women, 3 women who are the leads on an island with all these boys, and the boys are either an F-boy or a nice guy. And the women don't know who's who.
Okay.
And so when the men are eliminated, they will reveal if they have been a nice guy or an F-boy. And at the end, if you pick a nice guy, you split the money. But if you've picked an F-boy, he gets all the money.
Oh my God. Wow. Some of these setups are so diabolical.
Yeah. But it's really great. It's really fun. You see, again, like people being like, why have I only picked nice guys to go home? I need to look at this about myself.
Right.
And then you see like the F-boys try and be like, yeah, I'm going to really like pull my shit together and be worthy of her. And then you see them not be able to do that at all,
right.
Which is also very fun.
That's great.
Wow. So I think that covers the spectrum of wholesome and nice and complicated and messy. And the show that's at the center of that Venn diagram, I think, is still to be uncovered. There's still something to pitch for everybody out there.
We did give you kind of the 2 poles of the things I like. So those were all great recommendations. Thank you. I love it. I've been meaning to watch British Bake Off, especially. So thank you.
Yeah, fantastic. It's so fun. Just as a nice time.
That's great. That's what we need right now. That was why I wrote a whole book about a soothing show, because I was like, I can't really do anything else right now.
That is so true. I feel like the Great British Baking Show is like the reality version of Parks and Rec. Pure comfort TV.
Yeah.
All lovely people.
Just lovely people trying to do their best. I do really like shows that are about people performing excellence. That's sort of why I like The Voice. Like I like, and that's true. Like that's very similar. I always say I just like pretty young people singing at me. Like, it's just
Yeah.
that, this is very similar.
Absolutely.
And I do like to watch. I usually only watch cooking shows when I'm getting a mani-pedi because they show them on the TV there, and you don't need the sound. You can just
Yeah.
sort of,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
but I get engaged anyway, where I'm like, oh my God, what is he gonna make with these ingredients? Oh, look, that's great. So I'm sure that I would love that show.
Yeah. It's a blast.
I am tempted to talk about Chopped right now, but I'm going to move on because I just realize how much I love Chopped, and I could spend
Yep.
a whole day watching that show. And even though I'm not a good cook, I'm like, yes, I think I can do it. If all I had was mustard and like a bag of bread and like,
Oh, yeah.
right? It's just, I don't know. I love the creativity of that show. But we're actually going from reality TV now to emojis, which I can also show that invites a lot of conversation and opinion. So the New York Times recently published an article called "Do Your Emojis Make You Look Old?" And so Saul brought this to our attention in our MOPC group chat, and he told us, by the way, according to this article, the thumbs up emoji is for boomers, according to Gen Z. And I took affront because I'm like, I don't care. I am Gen X. We're all Gen X. But also, I just use emojis for expediency, just a way to signal, look, I see what you wrote. I acknowledge it. Thumbs up. And so, but the interesting thing about this article is I think Gen Z has a little more time and put some more creative thought into how they use their emojis.
Yeah.
So I'm going to quickly go down the list of some of the things I learned about what's in and what's out, and then we can kind of have a conversation about what we think about all this and just emojis in general.
I love it.
So what's out with Gen Z is the thumbs up, the cry face, the skull emoji to signal dead, and the 100 emoji.
Oh,
What's
geez.
in, right? So they don't
Yeah. Okay. You mean emojis?
You mean
yeah.
emoji?
Like, those are just emojis.
Yeah.
And then what's in is prayer hands over the thumbs up, the Wilson Rose over heartbreak, the Easter Island statue emoji, which is one of the more obscure ones, and that
was a wild one. I don't even know what category that guy lives in.
So they said either as a raised eyebrow or like a deadpan expression, and the fire emoji over the 100 emoji. So you already heard my thoughts about I don't care. I'm doing a thumbs up forever. But what do you guys think about all this?
I mean, listen, I'm a millennial. I was there. I was at the right age when texting came about. I was young once, Gen Z. I was young once. And I think it's just sort of like, for all sides of it, why do you care? Let me use my, and I'm not a big thumbs upper, but I have started to become a thumbs upper because it's really great when you're making plans and you're like, this plan is set, thumbs up. Or
Right.
you're picking me up from the airport, I will be at gate,
Yeah.
1D, thumbs up. And so in my text messages, I'm on Android, so that also makes me enemy of the state. My stuff looks different. So sometimes that also throws off the chat. But I am also I'm in a Slack workplace. So our custom emojis to react to Slack messages are unhinged. We will make versions of each other that will stand in for something. I made one just the other day. One of my coworkers was on the Zoom, and she just looks so relaxed and that I just made.
No.
You just pop one of her on there. You can make a GIF. So when I joined the workplace, I made sure to put in culturally relevant emojis to me. That was also part of it. I had to make sure I had some Black girl emojis ready to go. So
I love it. I mean, first of all, some of those that you said, like, this instead of this now, I'm like, "I'm sorry, but there are subtle differences among a lot of those." Like, fire and 100 are different. And this is actually one of my favorite things about emojis. I love the, like, what is the right word for it? It's like, I just love the way it's a gesture and for that stands in for a whole bunch of feelings. I always loved GIFs for the same reason, and I was sad when do you remember this a few years ago? This reminds me so much of a few years ago when all of a sudden, I don't remember who declared, like, those were done, they're out, they make you look old. Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
and I'm like, "I don't care." It's still like, I'm just trying to communicate here, and even as a person of words, I guess that's maybe why I love them in a way, because it's like, how interesting that people decided that dancing girls meant friendship, right? Like, that's fun. It's fun that it meant like, at least in my world, that's what it's meant is, like, female
Yeah.
friendship. It's just so interesting that that crying laughing emoji took, like, way, way over any other kind of there's a bunch of expressions that are varying forms of happiness and even laughter. But it's like we went for the biggest one. I'm always gonna use crying, laughing emoji. I love dead too. I mean, I thought that was kind of funny, and it is different from just crying, laughing. It's like beyond crying, laughing, right?
Right.
That's to me anyway. And thumbs up again, like I was just sitting here thinking about like if you looked at my text messages with my partner, it wouldn't it we're not very sappy, but, like, so and we're very practical, so I would bet there's, like it's just constant, like, statement, thumbs up, statement, thumbs up. Like, "Will you get, cottage cheese if you're at the store?" Thumbs up. "I will be home at 7." Thumbs up. Like, it's just that's all we ever use. It's not like, I'm not trying to be cool. Um, the one thing that stood out for me, though, from all of that was I didn't even know about the wilting rose. And I actually find
Yeah,
that
that's totally
incredibly
new.
poetic. It's so like, who even knew some of these exist? I need to go through and just, like, look at all of them because I'm missing out, I guess, on a, spectrum of emotions here. And on the other hand, I love that this is, like, an ongoing conversation. I think it's really interesting. And I also think, like, look, the New York Times took this upon themselves, and I watched a piece about this. Like, they took this upon themselves. They got the data from Google or somebody, and, like, Google was just like, here's some interesting data." And they're the ones who, first of all, did the calculations. Cool, love that for them. But, like, we know what they're up to with the headline. Um, I do not love generational warfare. I think it's this in this case, it's like it's all fun and games. It's fine. It's not that big a deal. But like, why is everything about age? You're out. You're this. It's the generational thing. Like, it's just it's interesting on some level, but I also think it's trolling us just a touch, and we need to remember that too.
That's actually a really good point because it's like one of those things I don't even think about. It's like become as useful to me as anything else. Like
Right.
in terms of communication, I don't think twice about it. And suddenly to be like, oh, now I'm being judged by a generation of people like who probably don't really give a crap about what old people do with their emojis. But I think that my one takeaway also was like, maybe I should explore the emoji keyboard more and see what's happening there because I think it's interesting that they keep updating it and adding new emojis. And Ali, you might be familiar with this. You saw Sierra from Summer House and how she made that certain emoji get very popular. The handstand emoji. Do you know what I'm
Mm.
talking about? So if you're familiar with
Mhm,
the
mhm.
TV show Summer House at all, they recently had a reality TV scandal, which I won't get into, but Sierra is one of the people who was embroiled in that scandal, and she kind of had her profile rise in a positive way because of it. And then she reacted to something with a emoji of a girl doing a handstand or kind of like a cartwheel. I should say a cartwheel,
Okay.
just to show that she's like,
Yeah, it was like a cartwheel.
yeah, like dirt off her shoulders. She's fine, she's free, and then everybody started using that emoji. And now people, she popularized it because she just
Hmm.
used it one time on Threads, and now it's a very popular emoji with reality TV fans. And And now they kind of took her meaning that she used with it and kind of associated a meaning with that emoji that I don't think existed before,
Mhm.
which I think is a fascinating combination of how emojis and popular culture can work together right now. So,
Totally.
Yeah.
You know, this
And
this
I think the generation spread of it all is it's like, again, whatever. I think I have like 2 Gen Z people that I like text on a regular basis, and they're like, my boyfriend's younger sister is one of them. Um, so it's like she doesn't care. But it's like, one, everyone knows how old I am. Like I look this old. I remember certain things. Like everyone knows how old I am. I have gray hair. Let's move on. But the other thing is the thing that's interesting about like this kind of generation wars, and again, this is a very like low stakes, innocent, silly thing, is when I was, in my early 20s, I was not my friends and I weren't looking at Gen X and saying like, "My God, get out of here." Like we were not like it was like, okay, if there's like a 35-year-old at the club, like that is where they should be. I don't even think we registered like, "Oh my God, this person is 35 at the club," cuz we were at the club having fun. So we were not checking who also was at the club. Um and there was also this thing of like looking, a lot of the magazines and TV personalities and stuff that we were watching were people who were Gen X. Like, thinking of like very specifically for myself, like reading Jane magazine, like those are
Mhm.
all Gen X people in the magazine writing and doing all, whatever very wild stuff Jane magazine was doing in the 2000s. Um, but I don't remember it having this sort of angry comparative
mm,
feel to it. And like, yeah, we all were like, "Ugh, boomers," because boomers were our parents. So there was like, yeah, it's our parents' generation or our grandparents, but not because they were, I don't know, this sort of the very specific image of boomers, I think developed a little later in my life because they were my parents and my friends' parents. So it was never like the societal ills are coming down from it was like your parents are cringe
Yeah.
because they're your parents. But with Gen Z, and I think now we're starting to see Gen Alpha, it's not just there's never anything positive in being older, whether it's a millennial or Gen X or boomer or whatever. So it's really funny to be like, they've reached bitch eating crackers with anyone older stage with anyone older than them. Which, if anyone doesn't know bitch eating crackers, it's like if you hate someone so much, everything they do annoys you, where you're just like, "Oh, look at this bitch eating crackers." It's like, that's not actually annoying. You just don't like that person. So I sort of feel like I don't know if what we're doing is annoying if so much as you just don't like us or don't like the idea of getting old or whatever it is. That it's like, you hate that I use a 100 emoji? Okay, child. Like
Yeah,
I
I
got nothing for you.
honestly, though I still will go back to, we do not know if that's true. We only know that the New York Times is telling us, and who is probably the vast majority of their audience. Like, I would bet they're all, let's go with mostly over 35 or 40. So,
Yeah.
like, they know exactly what they're doing. They're just like, the kids think you're old, our
Yeah.
entire audience. What about reading the New York Times? What is that on the list of, is that cool or not cool? I bet it's not cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like my parents read the New York Times. They don't know what emojis are. Like if you told my father, "Dad, they're saying you can't use the 100 emoji anymore." He would be like, Only so many things are 100 in value. Why would I use it so frequently?"
right. Remember when 100 like came in, and it was like that itself was sort of like very slangy and was not in the first generation of emojis. I do like to remember too that this all started with people doing like, what is that? colon smiley face, right? Which I still do
Yeah.
sometimes.
The-
I like it when it shows up old school, or like the winky face.
Oh yeah.
It's just it's a fascinating kind of like evolution of human ingenuity, honestly. And I think we can appreciate it for that and not use it to make each other feel bad.
Yeah.
That's
I had
my
a
grand
I had a
conclusion.
book in like truly it must have been 1998 where it was like the internet for children and it
Mhm.
had a whole section of like how to do all those little emoticons and it was
Mhm.
like the at symbol dash dash close carrot dash dash and that was a rose.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I do remember that now.
Or you could be like open carrot semicolon wavy bracket parentheses parentheses. It's like that's a fish.
That's crazy. I love that someone somewhere was like, we have to just make these people some graphics. This
Yeah.
cannot go on.
And the original shrug came from an emoticon too. If you remember, that was another elaborate emoticon.
Yeah, I do know that one. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one too. Like that's so there's certain ones including this list of things that are out. It's like they're just so useful that I think it's ridiculous that we would like are people really spending time being like, we got to get something else besides the heartbreak or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like, do we?
And I will also say a lot of like internet speak, internet memes, like they are from Black people. I
Oh,
remember
always.
I had a friend, she tweeted something where it was like the clapping emojis between every word. And she was
Mhm.
like, I'm going to use internet hands. And I was like, those aren't internet hands. That's a Black person clapping between every word. Like,
Yep.
not every culture does that in the same way. And like, there's a lot of things where people see it used in different communities. And there's a lot of stuff in all different kinds of communities of color where that thing gets like translated in. And then, I saw a comedian talking about like Gen Z is saying like, inshallah, like non-Muslim people because you've heard it online or something. And there's like a meme of like a poster that was about like the mosque movie night, Finding Nemo, inshallah they find him. Which my brother and I say all the time to each other. Oh, inshallah they find him. But again, it's like you have these things and then they get like divorced from the original thing they came from, and then it just becomes like internet. And it's like the internet is not race neutral or gender neutral or like
Right.
sexuality neutral. There's a lot of stuff that's like internet speak that's how queer people speak. Like
It's basically Black people and queer people. It's like I mean, I think mostly drag queens is what
yeah.
we draw, so like Slay and all of that stuff just comes from. And I will say that the first time I ever heard someone say keeping it 100, which was before people started using the 100 emoji, was on Larry Wilmore show. So
Right, yeah.
like he said it all the time, and I think he had a like bit where it was like at the end.
He had like a segment.
Right.
Yeah.
At the end, he would be like, okay, we have to keep it at 100. Like, and you'd go around the table, and I can't remember concept exactly, but that was the first time I heard that, and I loved it. Yeah, some communities are just have more creative. That's my theory. Like, have more creative ways of speaking. And then
Mhm.
when like mainstream white people hear them or see them, they go like, oh, that's cool. I want to do that.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, and that's how this stuff happens. I mean, I used to feel really weird when people would be like, girl, when like a white woman would say that to me. I've gotten to the point where I can't be upset about that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't do it, but
I heard a white woman say what had happened was, and I had to leave the county. I had to get across county lines and seek refuge.
And that
It's like-
osmosis happens without them realizing it. And they just
That's
suddenly,
the
it
thing.
suddenly just feels like part of popular culture. And there's no like any history or context that comes a part of these very actually I was thinking it might be in the same way, Ali, that you chose the history of reality television. By like I would think the history of certain emojis would be fascinating. 'Cause I don't think people think about the fact that the 100 emoji actually can, comes from a lot of, the Larry Wilmore show.
Yep.
How a lot of
Yeah.
Black people used to use that. And I think if somebody out there maybe wants to like that, I don't know. But I do think it's fascinating to think about what we just take for granted now actually has real, actual
Yeah.
cultural context.
Yeah, and I
Totally.
remember there was a bit of a conversation about like if all the reaction gifs you're using are black women and you are not a black woman,
No.
like what is that? Because it's like the moments that you want to have access to that level of like heightened emotion, often anger, often like powerful confidence. Like, why is that only accessible to you like through a black image, through an image of a black person? Like, there's plenty of our white sisters have also been angry on reality TV or in a movie or something. But it's like, why do you not seek out that face
Yeah.
to express anger or like get away from me? So there is something of like what images get picked to be like reused as GIFs. Yeah, like what emojis, like on and on, get to be, where like someone saying, "Oh, that's internet hands." It's like, is it?
Um, so we only have a few minutes left, but before we go, I just want to see if either of you want to shout out anything from pop culture you've really enjoyed this summer: movies, music, TV, etc.
Hmm.
Uh, I have a recent watch that I really enjoyed. I watched The Invite, the new Olivia Wilde directed movie. It's Olivia Wilde, Seth Rogen, Ed Norton, and Penelope Cruz. It's just those 4 actors. And my boyfriend and I have a genre we call movies for grown-ups. And it is really a movie for grown-ups, but it is like very juicy and emotional and dramatic. And the way that it's just like shot and composed, it really feels like a play. But it does some really fun things with like cutting back and forth between the different conversations, and there's some twists and turns. And that was just a really like the habit we get in now is my boyfriend will go out to the movies on days that I have to work if I don't have the day off when he has a day off. And so he'll go see something and come back and be like, "Oh, you got to see this." And so we watch The Invite together, and it's real fun. Just a real fun movie for grown-ups.
I completely agree. It's kind of the movies they used to make back in the day before everything
Yes.
got like Marvelized and superhero eyes. Like movies where just adults are in complex, interesting relationships. And I love the fact that The Invite is just like one setting, and that apartment is so vital to like what happens over the course of that movie too. And I'm just happy to see Olivia Wilde kind of make a comeback after everything that happened with the whole "Don't
Mhm.
Worry, Darling"
I
kerfuffle.
like it just everything that happened. Just that's all.
It's like
Just
everything that happened.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's actually a
yeah.
pretty good movie title for an adult movie.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean by adult movie, not
Yeah.
the other kind of adult movie, but yes, I agree. I wish we had more of those. And I love that you have that system because we have this system in my house, which is that I pre-watch TV shows. Like I'll watch like an
Okay.
episode or two, and then I'll be like, okay, no, this is for Jesse, and then I'll like bring him in and we'll watch. I'm like his concierge for TV, and
Yeah.
he pre-reads my New Yorkers. He reads the New Yorker and then leaves it on my table with like open to which things I should read. So it's good to have those. It's good to have those things
Yeah.
in your house. I'm just gonna go old school because Kirsten knows this, but I've been watching a couple of older movies because we're working on a little project together. And I just rewatched Bridesmaids for the first time in like a long
Oh.
time.
Mhm.
And oh my, I mean, there's certain things you like, everybody remembers the dress shop scene, right? You're not gonna not remember that they're, like having explosive diarrhea in a dress shop. First of all, I'm just, but still, like other parts of this movie where it's relentless in how kind of big the comedy goes. Everything you're just like, this woman is actually a psycho, like Kristen Wiig's character.
Yeah.
You just cannot believe how far they take it, and especially the plane sequence. I was like downstairs watching it. My partner was already up in bed, and I felt so bad because I was like guffawing constantly because I just didn't. It's the one sequence where they let wig out, like she's just
Yeah.
because she gets drunk. Her character gets drunk, so she can be a little different. And she just does every wigism in the book. That's incredible. She has this confrontation with a flight attendant that's like, I keep thinking about it, where she calls him Hitler at one point. Like, it's just everything about it is so funny, and it just keeps going. And she gets kicked off the plane and arrested. But like this, I just didn't remember how funny this movie really was. And it made me also remember like how revolutionary it was, because especially at that time, like we weren't doing women being that like women were not supposed to be that level of funny. It's like undignified, and that's why that dress scene is so important, because that's the like gross out. But just letting these women who are such good improvers, like just Melissa McCarthy, my God, like,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm here to recommend to you the movie Bridesmaids. But really, like, as a rewatch, especially, it's like a nice summer rewatch. It's like a good summer,
Yeah.
just like, it's not super and also, I was telling Kirthana this, it is a mathematically perfect movie. I was analyzing it for script reasons, and like, it is actually like at the 40-minute mark, the first turn comes. At the second 40-minute mark, she literally says to her mother, "Do you remember how you thought I hit rock bottom before? Well, this is it." I was like, yes, because it's an act break. And it's just like
Yep.
so satisfying. Like, there's a reason we have those structures, and it's so perfectly calibrated and great, and just appreciation all over again. Let's
Yeah,
learn Kristen Wiig.
it's really good. It's really good to watch a movie where you're like, this is mathematically calibrated to be
Yes.
satisfying.
Yes.
I used to teach like a very, very intro like screenwriting class at the Second City, and I would always be like, you guys need to watch Legally Blonde.
Yes.
Like, that is a movie that is like mathematically calibrated to be enjoyable. Like, this is what you should aim for. Like,
Yeah.
Elle goes to law school, defends a client, gets somebody off for murder in under 2 hours. Like, what
Under
are y'all
2
doing?
hours. Under 2 hours. This movie is exactly 2 hours, by the way. Bridesmaids, like, it's like 2:01. I also just rewatched Ghostbusters, also mathematically perfect. And an hour 45, you guys. They saved New York in under 2 hours. That's the way they used to do it in 1984. That's all I'm saying.
I love a 90-minute movie. I
Oh,
cannot get enough.
90-minute movie.
Yeah,
Bring it back.
bring it back. No more 2-hour plus movies. Anyway,
Mhm.
that's a whole other topic.
Yes.
Thank you, Allie, so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
This was so much fun to talk about.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And again, her new book, Reality TV for Snobs, comes out next week, and it'll be available anywhere you can get books. And so, thank you again, guys, and
Thank
everybody
you.
have a good rest of the day. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.